how we're done with this, but that's fine. We're just gonna kind of go through and look at some of the common errors that you might be having and how to fix them. So first off, if you want to follow along, you're on Windows. I personally am not super good with PowerShell, so you can go use git bash, and that's basically just working in a bash environment on Windows. It's not the complete capabilities of it, but it's enough. So you can use that on Windows if you want. So I think most of us have worked with Git, but if you haven't, very easy. You just git clone, and then you go find the repository link. Oh, this is.
Here we go. We're good.
All right. Yeah. So, anyways, you can just go on GitHub, and a lot of them will have clone or download. If you're not seeing it, you're probably not in the exactly right repository. You might be in some branch or something like that. That can often be super frustrating. So just kind of check how far you are into the file system before you start really getting messed up over it. That's all you do. And that downloads whatever this is, whether it's this app or any other thing you have stored in Git. It's the same exact thing every single time. So this is called e-to-do list, so you can CD into it. It's actually, we'll open up the graphics explorer. What was the first thing we called it? Yeah. Oh, what was it? Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll go over the actually, someone went into this and it's not there. Alright, so the command for
Blockchain.
I'm gonna rename it something else. We'll call it MUBC. So MV, that's just what that does. A little fun.
Do it. It's hard to stream and also do that.
You know what? Just stream. I don't think it's really.
No one's watching. Okay.
So yeah.
So the camera's gonna be on you for a bit.
MUBC,
Oh, I do that. I'm just gonna set it up. No, I can't see shit. That's not working. Alright, I'm just gonna hold on to it. And
we open it in File Explorer.
Fuck, I'm
You can
lost.
see build, contracts, migration, source, test, git ignore, vs config. What the hell do all these mean?
I don't know.
And it took me a while to really figure that out because each one is completely different. But we can walk through that now. So when you are building any sort of Node app, it basically starts with a package. Starts with a package. So if you aren't familiar with what JSON is, that's JavaScript object notation. And it's just a pretty easy human readable format of putting data or storing data.
Do a lot of coding here, guys. This is exciting.
All these are kind of standard. The name, that's the name of the package. So when you go to import this package into something else, if you're using like all these dependencies are also packages. So whatever you name your package is important.
Mine's Billy.
The version, it's not really important how semantic versioning works. The long story of it, or the short story of it, is that it has a version and you have to be aware of it, because if you aren't, it messes you up. Description doesn't really matter. Main is what is called when you run the thing, and I'll show you what that means in a second, but when you go to run your package, whatever file you have set as main, that's what will first be executed. So from there, you want to have all your other things executed. It's just directly. So scripts. This one's a big one. This one's super important. You can do a lot of cool things with it. So right here, what this is doing is it's mapping the script for npm dev to light server. So if I ran npm dev, it would in bash execute light server, and we'll take a look at that actually right now. It'll probably get pissy code. So right there, it tried to run light server. And if we do test, error no test is specified, which is exactly what it was supposed to do, and then exit with an error. So you can tell, you can make up these commands for your package, and basically make it do whatever you want. And there really aren't any limits to what you can do with this. I mean, there are, but if you can think of it and you spend 5 or so minutes trying to make it work, it'll probably work. So scripts is really important. Author, license don't really matter. At least like the description. And then, so dependencies are just all the other packages that you use to actually make your thing work. So,
Nice background. Thanks.
somewhere in this app, the person who wrote this used the Bootstrap package, and I think that's pretty
You
good.
better be doing this right. I am.
Not React, JavaScript.
Hey, we have one viewer.
Chai,
Oh, it's you.
Promise, Chai Big Number, all of these are different libraries of code that are called upon, and you don't have to have all this code stored in GitHub. If you're just specifying what it's supposed to be with its version, then you can call commands when it's local to download the stuff. That might sound like a bunch of jargon, but let me show you what I mean. So right now, the size of this is 469 kilobytes. Now let's run npm install. So npm install just installs every dependency. This can take a really long time.
So we do run test and then we do install.
Well, you don't have to do the test. That's just I was checking how
Alright,
it doesn't
cool.
work. So now this is 149 megabytes. It just shot up from 500 kilobytes to 140 megabytes because, again, if we look at a package, all this crap right here is representing 149 megabytes. So it's an incredibly efficient way to store code, full code, stuff like that. This one's called dev dependencies, and there's no start for this. You can just have dependencies and you can start running. Generally, you might not even have dev dependencies. It's odd that it's only dev dependencies because normally you'll just see dependencies. And it just goes through an install book. This all goes into node modules. So now if we go back in this, it's going to be bigger. There's now all this stuff in node modules, and there didn't even used to be node modules. If we go look at this that we pulled it up from, there's no modules, correct? That's because we pulled it all from Node Package Manager. And last thing, while we're strictly on packages, package lock just sucks. So anytime you see it, anytime you install, it's going to give you a package lock. So why package lock exists is so you're controlling the versions in the code so it won't break. So in some cases it's nice to have, but in a lot of beginner use cases, it's just gonna kind of get in your way. So you're gonna be removing a lot of package.json files. So yeah, when it comes to package, Node Package Manager, all of that, and really your entire application, whether it is decentralized, centralized, AI, or some restaurant website, it can make a lot of use out of package.json and npm. So let's see, let's take a look. Right now, so we haven't actually done anything decentralized yet. So now we're gonna spin up a decentralized environment. And if we go again, look at the dependencies, so technically you could use truffle, but we're not going to because I didn't figure that out. But it's missing, aside from that, kind of weird built-in thing that has a lot of like parameters. Oh, it has to be this situation or that situation. What we want to do is we want to have a Solidity or Ethereum blockchain that will just be up whenever we want it to. And for that, we need Ganache CLI. We've worked a little bit with both the, I don't think actually we've used the CLI in the workshops. We've used the UI though. So we could include that in package, but we're not going to do that. We're going to instead npm install Ganache CLI. And all this is going to do is just add this to node modules. I think it might add it to package.json. We're going to figure out whether or not it automatically does that. Yeah, so, oh, see, so now it's been added as a dependency. There are no dependencies. Dev dependencies is kind of a weird way of doing it when you have no dependencies. Normally you're going to get dependencies, so it'll do that. That's just annoying. Deal with it. Doesn't actually change anything. So now we've actually downloaded Ganache CLI. And that's all well and good, but how do you use it? You know, you might see a lot of .js files and configs, and it can be very confusing to figure out how to get these things to work. Whenever you're doing something where you're downloading it from npm, let's see, it's going to go into node modules that we just talked about. So MUBC node modules, and even though we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 dependencies, we have 397-ish dependencies in here. And that's because Bootstrap has dependencies, and the dependencies of Bootstrap have dependencies, and those dependencies have dependencies. It can just continuously have dependencies and have dependencies. So while this might not be a huge file, there's going to be a ton of things in your node modules, and all of these are pieces of code that are getting used. So if we're going to be using something that we just downloaded, we're going to expect it to be called Ganache CLI. And when you know it, Ganache CLI. And if we take a look in here, node modules, see it calls on all its own things. So it's got all these in here as well. Build, resources, readme, all this stuff doesn't matter. What you want is CLI.js. There will be one or a couple of JS files, and you can always tell by going into here. You can always tell which one it is by doing I was gonna get angry. Max recording time reached.
Just stop it.
We'll put it together.
All right, well, yeah, anyways. So package.json, if it'll let... What? I can't...
Just take a pause. Till then,
What do I want to do with this?
Ashton will tell you a bit about Blockchain Club.
Just publish it. What's up, guys?
Blockchain Club.
Thanks for joining and watching this. It's awkward. Yeah, we're learning about Solidity today. And that's just one of many workshops we're putting on here. We got a good audience today. You know,
Good.
some people that maybe didn't want to sit in for this workshop, but that's all right. So we're learning a lot today, thanks to Jack, our VP of blockchain research over here. It's really. And now he's publishing a video file
Called Ashton Sucks X.
Wait, is it action?
No.
All right, so anyways, well that,
Fun here in blockchain.
that goes, yeah.
It's the important thing to do.
The next one's gonna be more professional, guys. I promise.
That's what they say all the time. Those blockchain kids, they are no good. So it's not letting me do it from here. A lot of times when you're using a UI, it'll just kind of give you some crap. It might not want to open some file or do this or do that. Generally from the command line, you can do things like cat or file, and it just tells you exactly what you want to know. No, I'm exporting this right now.
It's exporting.
Yeah, no, it's gonna miss some of it. Yeah, so let's just go anyway instead of talking. Let me show you. So right now, that was not supposed to happen. Nor that. There we go. All right. So we can see that it's at MUBC, node modules, Ganache CLI. So right now we're in MUBC, so we need to go to node modules, Ganache CLI. Oh, and quick pro tip for anyone who's super new to Linux, because this one will save you so much time. Let's see. This is the only file in here that starts with a C. So if I type C and then press, oh wait, no, was that wrong? All right, maybe not, but CO and it'll work. Contracts. I changed where I was. No. LS. Right. Okay. So if I wanted to cat or CD into something, let's say contracts, which is a file, CD, and then I just do C tab. Or migrations, M tab. No modules, and tab. So that is super useful. And also, if you screwed yourself over and you have a space in the file name, but you can still do a tab, it'll handle all that for you, so you don't even need to worry about that. CD, node modules, Ganache CLI. Actually, you know what? We're just going to run it.
That's a good tip. Thanks, Jack.
So to run something, let's see. What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to do node. So node will run a JS file because we're running Node.js. And right now we're in the MUBC directory. If you're already went to this directory, then you don't need to include this in your path, but I'm including it because I'm not. Let's see if we can do CLI tab. The answer is no. I think maybe, let me try that, because that should have worked. Yep, there you go. So once again, you can kind of tell if your path is correct as well, because it will let you auto indent this stuff. So that's kind of an early warning as to whether or not your thing's going to work. If you're having trouble getting it to do that, then maybe there's something wrong with your path.
Yeah,
And
private
that started the
keys,
blockchain.
Worked.
accounts.
So
Look at that. We
if
got
you don't know what
ETH in
Ganache
there.
is,
Blockchain.
it is a
Mnemonic.
text
Look at my, I have my
blockchain
mnemonic
for
right here.
Ethereum. And we've
Ski
again,
gown
worked with
sister
the
when
UI
jar
lot.
must snap.
This is just
Oh,
a
yeah.
very
Oh yeah.
basic
Gas price
text
2
representation
some
of it. It's a
billion.
lot quicker to work from.
Got a
Though it
gas
might take
limit.
you a little bit of time, and if you haven't worked with the terminal, it's probably scary. But so now we've got blockchain set. This blockchain is now
What's your progress like?
being hosted on
Doing
localhost
what Jack's doing,
85.1,
same spot.
27. So when you run that command, you're not going to be able to use this terminal anymore. You're going to need to go get a new one. So go get a new one. And let's do something.
So what's happening? You have a checkbook right now, right?
What? Oh, yeah. So this is the blockchain. This is where all the blockchain stuff happens. Is it gonna let me web? Yeah, no, it's not gonna. All right, yeah. So I accidentally just closed it. Yeah. So you just kind of gotta let it sit there. That's now a terminal window that you kind of keep there until you want to stop the blockchain. So it's an easy way to stop the process. All you do is Control-C, and it'll take the blockchain down. So that's, it's not the most convenient. It's not the least convenient either. So, all this information for now doesn't matter too much. Skip over it for just a second.
Got a question.
Yeah.
for you. So if we take down the blockchain and then open it back up, will it be the same blockchain or create new accounts and private keys and all that?
It depends on what you tell it to do. If you don't tell it to reset, then no. And I think sometimes, even if you do tell it to reset, it has to be, you have to explicitly either just restart the entire thing or give it arguments to do so. Normally, if you're working with, like, let's say I paste this account in, and I start, stop, I'll still be using 0x80 or whatever, and I'll demonstrate that in a little bit too. All right. So we need this, right? CD desk. All right, so we've gone over a couple of what these do. We've gone over package.json, package.lock or -lock, and node modules. Briefly. There's a lot to each of those, but we have, I think a general understanding of what they do. But that still leaves build, contracts, migrations, source, tests, git ignore, gsconfig. Every time you're going and pulling from repositories, there's a bunch of files that you have no clue what they do. So let's keep going. Build, contracts. No, it's still not going to let me do it. Another way you can do it, you can just cheat and do. It's going to let me edit with Notepad. So this is called the ABI, the application binary interface, and this is explicit for Solidity. You need this. If you don't have this in some capacity, you don't even need to have the smart contracts. You just need to have the interface to the smart contracts. That's what these are. When you go to build this, when you go to compile your contracts, which here are the contracts, they need to be built into an interface so that they can be passed to Web3, and we'll get to Web3. Web3 is how a web browser can talk to Ethereum. So in order for the web browser to talk to Ethereum, the Ethereum code we want to be using while we're doing that interaction has to be converted to the ABI. And that's where builds is. So like I can delete this and it's not the end of the world. Delete that. It'll just mean that I have to Okay. So that's the case.
So don't delete that, maybe.
And no, that's not what. So truffle isn't on. Okay.
Two people.
Let's take a look at package CP. So I mean, this is kind of part of the debugging process. You know, you're gonna be running into all these stupid errors 100% of the time. So when you can't figure something out, this is all you do. You literally just. This is how you become good at computer science. Just doing that over and over. Okay, you can see.
Chill out, cameraman.
I don't know if I can. We'll try it, but it might get angry and try to. Yeah, Andre and I were working on this for a little bit earlier. Not with truffle, but with NPM. All right. Now I'm gonna try reopening the terminal. Sometimes that works. Let's try this one more time. All right. So I assume then. Are you serious? All right, let's. All right. So, I think that I'm gonna try this, and that's great. This is going great. We'll come back to this in a minute. Let's see what else can we work on for a moment. Console function. Okay, yeah. So you can kind of mess around with the blockchain that you have on here. Let's go do that. In order to do that, what you want to do is you first want to have it up. And I'm not sure if it'll work from. Oh fuck! Right. Okay, well, now we're gonna figure out how to get this working on Windows because I don't use Windows. Sorry about this. All right, let's try CD. CD desktop slash wait, CD workshop.
Check the comments.
And we wanted to do truffle migrate.
Working hard together, collaborating on the blockchain. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh geez, Rick. So, who knows why this isn't working? Because I do.
Why isn't it working?
I asked the questions
Right.
here. Anyone?
Oh. Is
Going
it,
once, going twice.
is it because you don't have it installed on Windows?
Yes, you're not wrong. Why can't I install what so I work on Linux.
Yes.
Why can't I install my code on this Windows machine?
If anyone's watching this live stream and you know the answer, please comment it. Thank you.
Because Windows and Linux are two different operating systems and compatibility
Close.
errors.
Basically, yeah. Windows uses PowerShell.
Yeah.
And Linux and
Uses
Mac
Bash.
Bash.
Or, yeah, Bash. Yeah.
One again, shell something. Maybe it's just one in shell. But yeah, it uses Bash. Basically Unix. Microsoft is not. So, like I think one of the issues with this is somewhere there is a truffle.js file, and normally on Unix, like this truffle config right here is called truffle. But because there's already a truffle.js somewhere, oh, so you know what? Tip number 1000 something.
1043.
You can search for a specific pattern in a file name by doing this. I use this all the time while I'm doing this stuff. You start with find, and what are we looking for? We're looking for, completely forgot. Oh, right, we're looking for truffle.js. So we're looking for a file called truffle.js. So we do find, and then in quotes, truffle.js. Then we do a period, and that means this directory. Pipe command, find truffle.js, and then grep, which just searches a string. So find will produce the string, and then grep will search the string for the same thing. What? Yes, there is. That would be shift and then the backslash character. That. So this is called piping for anyone who doesn't know. It allows you to take the output of this command on this side of the pipe and pass it in as an argument on this side. So what you would have to do normally if you were doing grep, is also pass it a string to work from, or a file to work from, or something to work from. This is just grep and then the pattern. And it allows you to do that because you're passing in this third argument using the pipe operator. So these are all of the files that have truffle.js, and they are all in test. Okay, oh.
Single quotes or double quotes?
Single.
All right, let's try this again. One of these is it. One of these is it. Let's go with that one. So we're gonna copy, node, paste. Wait. Okay. And that did nothing. Okay. Absolutely.
Everyone tests a different one. And whoever gets to it first wins. Is that not gonna work?
Why? Seriously. Some of this definitely has to do with the restrictions they put on this, because I don't think -G is working. Which is really annoying. Let's try test RPC, see if it.
I'm not a coder. Dude.
Look at that. That's a blockchain. I think.
There's something.
It's progress. Look at that.
Like me, I think it has something to do with npm -G right now. Because normally what you're gonna do is you're gonna be running this from your local machine, and you're gonna have most of your node modules that are just dependencies within that project. That would, like when we installed Ganache CLI, we did npm install -G Ganache CLI, and that -G flag means global, entire machine. I am on Miami's keychain right now, so I don't think that I have permissions to do that. So yeah.
What else can we do, sir?
Well, I am glad that you asked, because I don't know. Let's see. See, yeah, migrate and show off console functions. Those are all parts of Truffle.
Can you do that maybe on your local machine?
No, I can't do it on my local machine. It's
Can you do
local.
it on your computer?
No.
Like, your computer?
I don't have my computer. And even then, that's also a Windows machine. So, though I could have controlled that, I guess, but we still couldn't follow along. So instead,
Yeah, my computer.
yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can get that. I can get it working quickly. I know exactly what the problem is. You guys won't be able to follow along, unfortunately. But if you're on your laptop or something.
I won't break out your laptops. Ooh, switch this thing.
All right, till then, how much do you guys love Blockchain Club?
Blockchain is the best. You should join blockchain. If you're not in it, you're missing out.
Exactly, Ryan.
They've given me free pizza, so.
There you go.
See?
There you
Like,
go.
free pizza.
All right, till that's set up.
It looks like Windows didn't load correctly.
This is Blockchain Club. All right. Workshop 4.
Right.
That's Andre, everybody. What's up, Andre?
2% battery.
This is a live stream.
No, he asked what's your name.
Oh, I'm Raj. What's up? Nice to meet you, buddy. We're live streaming this. Should I pause it?
To all 0 of our viewers.
There's 3 actually.
There's 3.
Three people are
What?
watching this?
Me, Ryan, and somebody else.
I may have 2 streams open.
Oh my god.
This is taking time.
This club will get bigger someday, I swear.
All of these are gonna be full
Exactly.
as soon as everybody joins. Please
They
join.
just, people just don't know what's up.
Exactly.
They just don't get it.
Exactly. It's just, it's not
Yes, so
just a
don't-
phase, Mom.
This is the Windows.
Yes. Is that a problem?
Yes. I hate Windows.
want
You
to
use
my
Windows.
I do.
Mac? He wants that young badge.
Alright, and we're off. Let's get it, guys. Back on the. Alright,
Off to a great start.
It's
so
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
GitHub.
This is how I like to spend my St. Patrick's Day.
Thanks for being here and St. Patrick's Day.
Not GitHub. That I
Nah,
don't want to go to
I gotta
GitHub.
study linear
I
algebra.
don't know what that is.
Uh-oh.
That's
That would be.
Yes. Here's the. So I would encourage if you're looking to do more of this stuff. The kind of point of this was to go over how you pull stuff off of GitHub and start working with it. I still quickly will go over some of the other files just so you kind of know what you're doing. But we're just gonna grab this and do literally the same thing.
Math.
CMD, CD.
But you're blocking it.
desktop,
Blocking
Git
it.
clone,
You're
Thanks for coming,
you're
guys.
blocking it. Alright.
that.